In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn abandoned carts into sales. With this system, we have generated 42% recovery carts using n8n and ChatGPT. So we are going to go from lost checkouts to recovered revenue with AI automation. First, we are going to start with level 0. This level has no AI, but it's really important because it's the base for the other levels of this system where we start implementing AI. These systems have been developed by Flowmmerce, where we create and develop systems powered by AI to improve sales, to get more return on investment exclusively for e-commerces. In level 0, we are attacking one of the main problems for e-commerces, and is the costly reality of cart abandonment. 70% of carts are abandoned daily, representing thousands in lost revenue that the right automation strategy can recover. Just last year, $260 billion in profit were lost around the world in e-commerce industry. So let's jump into the platform to show you the system. If you want to see this system working with a real example, I'm going to leave you right here a video where I use a real example showing you that the system works and how it works. But in this video, I want to focus mainly on explaining the logic behind this system and the difference between level 0, level 1, and level 2. So here we are in the level 0 system. I'm going to zoom in to show you better every step of this module. So in this first part, we receive the information, in this case from Shopify, but we can receive the information from almost every software or system out there for e-commerce, so don't worry about it. So in this part, we receive the information. In this part, we clean the information. And in here, we ask the platform if this checkout already exists. If the checkout is already on the database, we are going to update that row. If it doesn't, then we are going to create a new row. Why this is important? Because we don't want to have different rows with the same user, but where the only different thing is that we update, for example, the email or the phone. We don't want that. We just want one row with all the information that we have gathered from that user. Why? Because if we have several rows, this system is going to trigger several times, and it's going to send, for example, one email for the same person several times. So we don't want that, because we want to avoid overspending credits on this type of systems, and we want to give a good service to our potential client. If we send one good message, one good email, the user is going to see that we are a business where everything is well set up. But if the same user receives 3 emails with the same information, is not going to look well for us, or in this case, for you, the business that we want to help with this kind of systems. So after we know this, we have to wait 15 minutes. Why in this example we are waiting 15 minutes? Because based on data, we have seen that 15 minutes, it's a good time where we can see if the user really abandoned the checkout or not. We want to give the user some time so they can fill out, for example, the email, the phone, and all the shipping information. If we make this too short, for example, 5 minutes, we are not giving the user enough time to fill out the entire checkout form, right? So we want to give them some time. If you, for example, think that 15 minutes is not enough time, then we can change it. For example, 30 minutes, or if you want to send the first email after an hour, then we can do that. So that's the power of this type of systems, that we can customize everything based on your business and your needs. So after we wait, we are going to ask the platform if we have an email or a phone. If we don't have either of these two things, we are going to stop the flow. And why? Because we don't want to keep the flow if we can't contact the user back. We need a phone or an email to contact them back. In this case, we are going to have an email, or we are going to have an email and a phone. But in this case, we are not going to have only a phone. Why? Because in this checkout, we are always asking the email first. So we know that if the information goes through this part, we at least are going to have an email. Then in this step of the flow, we connect with the checkout system of Shopify and we analyze the order status. We can tell if the order has been paid or if it's really an abandoned checkout cart. Then we update the database and we ask again, is the checkout abandoned? If it's false, this means that the order was paid and we are going to stop the flow. If the checkout was indeed abandoned, then we are going to keep going through the flow. Then we ask if we have phone. If we don't have phone, then we are going to keep only through this path. And if we do have phone, we are going to send a WhatsApp or an SMS, and then we are going to send the email. In this case, both paths are going to send an email because, as I told you at the beginning, we know that if we go through this part, we at least are going to have an email. So in both cases, we are going to send an email. After 6 hours, we are going to analyze the order status again. If it's still abandoned, then we are going to send a second email, and we wait other 24 hours and we analyze the order status again. And if the cart is still abandoned, we are going to send a third email. So that's the level 0. As you can see, is a really good system for cart recovery, but there is not AI in any part of these systems. If you don't have even this type of system, then you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Usually with an automation with no AI for cart recovery, we can get up to 15-20% of cart recovery rates. But with this system, we have seen up to 22%. Without AI, this is already a very powerful system. But now we are going to see level 1 and level 2 to see the differences between these systems. So now on level 1, we have the intelligent personalization. So every customer gets a unique message tailored to their actual shopping behavior and cart contents. So let's go into the platform. So here we are in the platform to show you the level 1 system. So if we go through all of it, we can see that it's exactly the same. The difference is here. So in this part, what we are doing is telling the AI, in this case, we are using OpenAI, we are using model 4.0. And why are we using this model? Because we have seen the best results in terms of efficiency. For example, in here, we can choose GPT-5 Pro, which is like the latest model, but for this type of tasks is too expensive and we don't need it. The results between this one and 5 Pro for this type of task is too similar, and what we want in Flowmmerce is to maximize resources and cost. So we do everything as much cost effective as we can. So in this case, we are using this. We are telling the system to generate a JSON for the subject and for the body, an HTML for the body. And then we use all the information in here. I'm using this just for the example of sending me an email, so we can see it in the next slides. But in here, we can use just the email of the user where we want to send this email. In here, we are using the subject that we generate with ChatGPT. And in here, we are using the HTML body that we generate with ChatGPT as well. In level 0, this is the same subject and the same HTML for everybody. And in here is where we see like the big difference between the 15 or 22% recovery rate up to 35% with this system. So in this case, we don't use AI before sending a WhatsApp. Why? Because in this case, in this system, we are sending a WhatsApp, we are sending the first message to the user. And Meta doesn't allow us to send like customized messages. We need to create a template that Meta is going to approve, and then with that template, we can send a message. If we can't customize that template, because that's why it's a template, then it makes no sense to adding this step before the WhatsApp. However, if instead of a WhatsApp, we are going to send SMS, then we can do it because we can personalize an SMS. So in this case, for level 1, we are going to personalize only the first email. That's why we don't have these modules before the other two. But we can do it. Like I told you, that's why this is very powerful, because we can customize everything in these systems for your specific e-commerce, for your specific business. So that's like the main difference between level 0 and level 1, the personalization message that we are going to send. So before showing you like very simple examples of what we do in this step, in this level 1 of AI implementation, is that simple wins always. In this type of system, we want that this first email is very simple. Why? Because simplicity for a cart recovery system means a higher conversion value. So we don't want like very complex emails where people have a ton of information and they don't really know what to do. Instead, we want clean and simple email. And not only for the open rate and the conversion rate that we want to achieve with these type of systems, also because over personalization risk. This means that complex emails can trigger spam filters. This is very important because we don't want that our email goes into the spam folder of the user. We want them to go into the inbox. And if we over-personalize the email, this is going to happen. And we want to avoid this. So this is very important to consider if you are thinking about doing this type of things, because this is going to be the difference between having a really good open rate or not, or having your email in the inbox or in the spam folder. So now I'm going to show you like level 1 AI personalized email examples. This is very basic, simple, because I was doing these examples just for the video, for the sake of showing you like the differences between the personalization levels in a message based on the information that we have about the user. So in this case, we have two examples. As you can see, the subject and the email or the body of the email is different in both. In this one, for example, the message goes in the center. In this one, it goes in the left. So this is just like one small difference, but it's different between both emails, right? And that's what we want. We want like some differentiation among our users based on the product that they are adding. So for example, in here, we have a simple product, oversized white t-shirt. And in here, we have the subject. And in here, we have another subject, considering that we are using the same product as example. So this is what we want. We want that the user sees something specific about what they did in our website. In this case, we only had the email of the user, and that's why we don't have like the name or anything at all. But in the next slide, I'm going to show you an example with that. In this case, the red box is showing you, for example, this message. And this message, in this case, appears because we are using systems inside n8n, which is the software behind the developments of Flowmmerce. But this is only because we are using like a software inside this platform. But for example, if you have Klaviyo or an email platform to send emails, we are going to connect that platform, that software, to our systems, and this is going to disappear because it's like we were sending an email through that software. And this is very important, so you are sure that these type of messages are not going to appear in any part of your email. So that's something that I wanted to make clear, because that's also important in terms of branding. Now we can see like the second example where we have a name. So in this case, the fictitious name was Michael. So in this case, in the subject, we added Michael. We have the product that this fictitious character had in the checkout cart, and in the body of the email, we have the name again. In this case, we don't have the name, we only have the email. So that's why we sent like a very simple and direct email that it's different in every message that we send, but we don't have like further personalization because we don't have more information. But in this case, we have the name and we can personalize even more. And the last one is an example of something that we don't want to see. So a lot of times we want to be simple, but we don't want to exaggerate, right? And in this case, we don't have even like a message. We only have like, you left anything in your cart, see your cart. That's all. So this is not good because we aren't using the system as we should be using it. We are not going to generate a lot of recovery cards. And in AI, we always have to be like very careful about everything that we want to personalize. We don't want to over personalize, but we don't want to send something like this that it's too basic and it's not going to work either, right? So a generic email without personalization or specific product highlights rarely generates conversions. So today's customer expects relevance and value. So if we are going to implement this level 1, we want to do it well. We want to maximize the results from this personalization. Now we are on level 2, so it is advanced intelligence. So the AI now analyzes context, customer history, and browsing behavior to further personalize the cart recovery strategy. This enables predictive messaging and hyper-segmented offers. Now we are going to jump into the software to show you like the difference between this level and the other two. So here on level 2, on this level and this system, you can see like a more robust system where we have this part that we didn't have in the other two, and we have this part. Like, what's the main goal with this new system is that we want to qualify the user. We want to know if that user, for example, has a low intent, a medium intent, or a high intent. And in this case, we added this step right after we know if they have an email or a phone. Why? Because if they don't have email or a phone, we can't contact them back. And if we can't contact them back, then doing all of this is irrelevant. So that's why we added it here. If we know that we have at least the email, we know that we can contact them back. So in this case, we have like a very simple prompt that works almost for every e-commerce, where we qualify the prospect, the user, and we give them like one of these 3 scores. 1 for low intent, 2 for medium intent, and 3 for high intent. So this is important because if we know the intent of the user, we can personalize the flow that we want them to go through. So if the intent is low, then we want a simple email. So that's why in here we have like 1 email, and that's why in here we don't ask if they have a phone or if they don't, because we don't care. We are going to use only the email. In the second one, we are going to only send 1 email and 1 message through WhatsApp. So in here, we ask if they have a phone. If they have a phone, then we are going to send the first email and we are going to send the first WhatsApp. And if they don't, we are going to send only 1 email. We are going to add the personalized message before the email. And if we have, for example, SMS here instead of WhatsApp, then we are going to add the personalized SMS message before sending the SMS. That's for number 2, if they have like medium intent. In the number 3, where we know that the intent is very high, we are going to send the full follow-up system. So that's like the main difference, that we are going to personalize the follow-up process based on the score that the AI gave them. So for example, if you have an e-commerce that has over 500 abandoned carts in a month, then this is important, because if you start sending every single person through the longest following up process, then you are going to start spending a lot of credits on AI, and this can be hurtful. And if you don't have like this score system, it's going to be like harder to know what type of user is converting more. And if you have this score for this system, well, that's really great, because you are going to start saving a lot of credits, but you are also going to start knowing more about the users and your ideal audience. So for example, let's say that we start seeing that the score number 2 starts converting more than score number 3. So this is telling us that something in the prompt is qualifying some users as 2, where they should be qualified as 3. And we can see like if that's something about the prompt, or if it's something about the products that they are adding, or if it's something about the user, like some demographic information. Like all of that is going to give us more information that is going to allow us to improve the conversion rate and the recovery rate. So that's why with this system, we are able to jump from 22% with level 0 to 42%, or up to 42% with this level 2. In level 1, we can go up to 35% recovery rate. So this is why all these systems are so important. And for example, if you are watching this video and you don't have even level 0, then we can start with that level, because you are going to jump from recovering 0% to at least 15 to 22%, which is great, and only implementing a regular system where we don't use AI at all. Of course, if you want to go a little further, then we can jump into AI level 2 or AI level 1. So now that we saw how level 2 worked, I want to show you like 2 type of prompts that we can use to qualify the user. So this one is the one that we used for the system, and this one is the one that we used for one of our clients. So in this prompt, you can see that we have like more rules. So for example, you are going to give points for each user based on different type of things. So for example, in here, the cart value, product type, country, contact information, number of products, and then you have to calculate the total and then assign the final range. So in here, we were saying something like more relaxed, like a more relaxed approach. In this one is a more structured prompt. So this, of course, depends on your business, on your e-commerce. So for example, if your average ticket is $1,000, then this instruction must be different. So that's like really the power of this type of systems, that we can customize everything based on your e-commerce and your needs. So here we have like a visual representation of the results that we can expect. So in level 0, we can expect a recovery rate of 22%. On level 1, we can expect a recovery rate of 35%. And in here, we can expect a recovery rate of 42%. Of course, these are average numbers. You can be like a little bit below or a little bit above this number. But something that I want to highlight is the fact that in Flowmmerce, we keep reviewing our systems every single week to improve these results as much as we can. So that's why we have like monthly plans. Because let's say that you get level 1, you get the system with level 1 of AI, that is AI personalization. And we start getting, for example, 30% recovery rates. Then we are going to analyze, we always analyze the systems, we assess how are they working, and we start implementing changes and adjustments to get to this 35% or even more. And we can start adding like steps or modules to improve even more the efficiency and the results that the system is generating for your business. So I think this is like the most powerful thing in any system with AI, is the fact that AI helps us learn what works better, and then we implement those improvements, we adjust. So we always keep seeing improvements in the results that we have. So if you are ready to transform your cart recovery, take the next step to transform abandoned cart recovery. You can contact me directly through WhatsApp. Here is my number, and down below on the description, I'm going to have a link so you can click it and go directly to my WhatsApp. Or you can visit flowmmerce.com and you can schedule a call directly with me, where I'm going to show you exactly how we can implement this for your store. And remember that you don't have to have your e-commerce on Shopify. We work with e-commerce in almost every software or every platform. So if it's in Shopify, WordPress, or any other, I am 99.9% sure that we can help you. And if you have any question about what we saw today on the video, please let me know on the comments and I will answer you as soon as possible. That would be all for today. Thank you for watching the video and I see you on the next one. Bye-bye.